Good afternoon, world. It's moments past noon here in Waxahachie, Texas, deep in the heart of the Lone Star State. Today, Tuesday, the 10th of October, our 5th episode of Grit and Good News. We're broadcasting live from our palatial second-story studio in downtown Waxahachie, in the shadows of the historic Ellis County Courthouse. I'm your co-host, Jeff Lynch. It gives me great pleasure and honor to introduce our host, my friend, Scott Brooks.
Thank you, bud. You know, one of these days we need to read all these things because these things are pretty funny.
You mean they're not just clutter?
No, they're not just cluttered. Like that blue one over there says, sometimes I wish I was an octopus so I could slap 8 people at once. Is that not? Anyway, welcome to Grit and Good News. We're glad you are here. It is a third of the way through October. Pretty amazing to me. We got cold, not cold weather, but cool fall weather coming, which we're excited about.
You got pumpkins out yet?
Huh?
You got pumpkins out?
No, I don't have pumpkins out. I don't put
Dude,
pumpkins out.
Sam, get on your old man and say we need some pumpkins.
You're a pumpkin man, I know.
Come on.
But welcome to our show. Jeff and I love doing this show. We've done 8, as you just heard. We hope to do 800 one of these days if we live that long. But thank you for being here. We have Jonna here, Hussar here, Sharon here. Thank you. We have hundreds of people are watching the show, which we haven't even really promoted this show yet, other than a story in the Sun the other day. We'll be doing more promoting in the weeks to come, but we are excited about it and really enjoy doing it. It seems like the hour goes like that.
And if you are watching, you know how you got there, but tell them all the ways you can get there.
Yeah, so all the ways right now we have Instagram. So hello, everybody on Instagram. Then on our other camera, we have Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, although TikTok's going to have segments till you have to have 1,000 likes on TikTok before you can go live, but we'll have segments on TikTok for people to see. And then there's one more I'm missing. No? So anyway, thank you.
No, let me understand that.
Yeah.
That's only for people in Waxahachie?
No, that's for anybody across the world.
Across the world. That's why I say hello world, by the way.
Yeah, that is why you say hello world, because when I had Brandon Beavers in here, we had people from the UK and other parts of the world that were chiming in about that. So web sleuths, crime sleuths are everywhere.
I knew the answer. I was just leading you there.
I got you.
Okay.
So anyway, welcome to our show. We are here every Tuesday and Thursday, noon to 1, and are excited about it. Today we have, let me see those tickets, Sam. We have 2 tickets we're giving away to the state fair. The state fair that
our state fair is the best state fair.
Sorry.
Don't miss it.
The state fair in Dallas, Fair Park. Is that what's called? Fair
Park with the big Ferris wheel.
Cotton Bowl, big Ferris wheel.
And big decks.
Yep. So we'll be giving away those after the show because we like to go back and see all the comments. We can't see the ones from Instagram on our screen. So if you are on Instagram and you want to comment or you want to let us know you're here, please go to Facebook. Let us know that you're here, and we will recognize you and talk to you, obviously. So,
and for Facebook, you go to the Waxahachie Sun.
Yep, you can see it there. So thank you for being here. We have a number of things we want to talk about. First up will be the grit part of the show, and that is that the news in the world today, or in America certainly, is the hurricane that just slammed into what I guess really is Sarasota, Tampa, those communities there, Clearwater, right there on the west coast of Florida, the Gulf Coast.
Coming on the Gulf side, yeah.
It hit as a category. It was a category 5 way out in the ocean, and it dropped a little bit to a category 4, and then when it actually hit land, it was a category 3, which I don't care what category it is. I don't want to be in a hurricane. But the recent facts, I'm going to give you some recent updates on Hurricane Milton. And this is while Hurricane Helene is still, the damage there is incredible. And but here are the facts on Hurricane Milton. These the most recent, like within the last 30 minutes. Hurricane Milton made landfall near Siesta Key, Florida, late Wednesday night as a category 3 with winds of 120 miles an hour, More than 3 million people in Florida are currently right now without power as the storm has devastated Florida's coast. Milton is currently a Category 1 storm right now and has moved off the coast, bringing destructive winds, flooding, and rains, and storm surge in its wake. So I guess this thing, I'm not a weatherman, far from it, but comes in through from the south and kind of the west, goes into the Gulf Coast communities of Florida. I guess a hurricane stops when it hits land, or not stops, but it dissipates. I don't know if there's a chance it could go right over Florida and then back out into the ocean.
A couple of things to think about that geography. Along that coast, you have many islands with
right.
residences. And I heard him talking the other day on the radio about the trough. You ever heard anything about the trough?
I've heard it used, but I don't. I mean, I know what a trough is.
So
But I don't know what it
they were
means.
saying that the east coast of Florida, the Atlantic side, gets more hurricanes, and that has contributed to the trough buildup. And the trough is also known as the Straits of Florida,
Mm.
and it goes all along the Florida east coast and all the way down to Cuba, and it's this area of extremely deep water. And because of that trough, the impact isn't as bad on the East Coast. Somehow the trough eats up some of the energy of the storm. And
Yeah.
so now when it's coming in on the west side,
Mhm.
and if you look at a map, it's just full of small towns and islands. And I was looking back when Helene hit, and I was looking at the population of the state was like 18 million, and Tallahassee is the biggest at 9 something. Miami's 500,000. Couple other towns are 500,000. But you look at all those little towns, and they're just
Yeah.
full of people there.
Yeah, Florida. It's interesting in Florida because there are little tiny towns throughout that whole state. Having traveled that state by
Yeah.
car,
Yeah.
there are towns everywhere. So last night, one of the interesting things about what I was watching the Fox National weathercast, Sonia and I were, and it was talking about how the rotation of this storm, as it was coming into Sarasota or Siesta Key Island, is that what it's called? Siesta, yeah, was spinning such that it was going into land and then blowing water back out to sea,
Mm-hmm.
which was interesting, back out into the Gulf. That stuff fascinates me. It says Milton, I just said that. Right now, more than 10 inches of rain has fallen so far in some parts of Florida, and an additional 8 to 12 inches of rain is possible in some areas, many areas. St. Lucie County Sheriff also confirmed to Fox Weather there have been 17 tornadoes with several fatalities in his county, with a rescue mission ongoing and hundreds of homes destroyed. Right now, the death toll is this is 42 minutes ago is at 5, with rescue operations continuing.
And that 3 million without power, that's the one that's really that's tough, because you got 3 million residences without power. What's that say about any businesses that are around? And how long will it ever take to get all that power on? And the what happened before it hit? I saw this news last night. They were showing the sand.
Yeah.
They're showing this SUV sitting on the curb, and it's halfway up the SUV, and then there's a convertible up by the house, and all you can see is the convertible top, and it's all sand.
Yeah.
It's all sand.
Yeah, it's just incredible. Doug Hussar says, "How do we win the state fair tickets? We choose the best post of the show, and that's how we end up doing it." The Taylor Berry, I think, is the person that won it the other day, and I can't remember what he or she said, but just post and like the show, share the show, do whatever, do a dance, sing the national anthem, whatever you want to do. We judge it. It's subjective.
It is
And we just
subjective.
pick the person that gave us the best post that show.
It is subjective, but I was not part of the actual decision. But I would mention this about Taylor Berry. She's 22 years old, and she is a she, and it's exciting to see a demographic that's just not all
we
old
love
geezers
it.
like us.
Where are you, Taylor?
Up in Denton, yeah.
But we love it. So let's keep the folks of Florida and North Carolina in our prayers. You know, when I was watching last night, we've all experienced some form of bad weather in our lives. The issue last night, in partly, was that this massive hurricane was hitting at 11 p.m. midnight. Power's out, so it is pitch black, and no doubt you can hear the noise, the rumble, the wind, the lightning strike, thunder, the rain. I mean, that's almost movie like when you think about the eerie nature of pitch black and you hear it coming. It's like a monster. You hear it coming, and what do you do when it's pitch black? I mean, you have people have generators, people have flashlights, but it's nothing like sunlight
Those
or
candles aren't
daylight.
going to last forever.
Yeah, so I just empathize with the people of those areas. I remember in 2011 a Category 5 hurricane, not hurricane, tornado hit Tuscaloosa, if you remember, and tore apart a third of the campus, destroyed many businesses. Many people were killed. And when I lived there and worked there, you could still go through parts of Tuscaloosa, and I believe this was intended by the government, local and state and federal government, that parts that Tuscaloosa wasn't proud to have in it were never rebuilt. So you could drive through an area and still, and this was what, 3 or 4 years later, you could still feel the desolation. You could still see trees that were made bare and killed, but were still standing. You could see slabs of concrete where you knew either a home or a business was, and it gave you, even then, it gave you a sense of, man, that's just straight up decimation.
Right. Right.
And so it's
Are
just
we
awful.
hearing much about that? So that path, it went east and it's not working itself up
No,
north,
that's what I
but
was saying. It hit land at Sarasota
yeah,
or Siesta Key, and so it's going east.
yeah.
The question is, does it, if anybody knows weather, do these things still try to stay a Category 1, as we just read, get to the other side of the coast, which is where Daytona Beach is, and then go back out into the ocean?
And this reminded me, I was thinking about this in, Helena, and I was thinking about North Carolina being a long way from the coast. And I was trying to make a comparison. Um, so I did a little research and I checked the mileage between Asheville, North Carolina, and I picked a random town on the Gulf Coast, coast of Florida, Horseshoe Beach.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's 539 miles. Okay. And I was trying to understand how come when we have hurricanes that hit Houston and Galveston and whatnot,
Yeah.
and from Galveston to Dallas is 289 miles. Now,
Yeah.
when we had Harvey, that was a big old hurricane,
Right.
and 289 miles, we got a little bit of rain.
Yeah.
And you get this one,
Where it destroyed
this
parts of Asheville.
destroys
Yeah.
539 miles, plus it's got to go through mountains to get there. And I'm just thinking,
Did
how
Helene come up through the Gulf, or did it come from the east coast?
no, it came up through
From
the
the
Gulf
Gulf.
too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's a good question. I guess it's just a
they
strength they
they differ
maintain.
a lot, but
Yeah.
I tell you what, we're pretty lucky that we're 289 miles is not that far,
Yeah.
and we never get bombed by the hurricanes.
Yeah, we don't. I
So
mean, we
weird.
get bad weather, but you're right. It's somewhat mitigated. As far as I'm concerned, we live in the best place in the country for a million reasons. We just added a
We had
million and one.
I had a nice piece on that on Tuesday,
Yeah,
and
we may get tornadoes here and there,
yeah,
and they're not to be, taken lightly. But really, when you think about and the heat, but
mhm.
we're Texans. We know what the heat's like. So that's the latest on Milton. For our friends, your friends that are in that part of the country, those parts of the country, we offer our prayers. Certainly, I happen to be a member of the Ellis County Salvation Army Board, and our folks are in Asheville. We have some friends. Dave McSpadden and a few others have loaded up U-Hauls earlier this week. They are there trying to get back. Matter of fact, Dave and the two other folks, I think, or one other person he went with, they texted last night to several of us and said that something on their vehicle, their van, or what they were using to haul the U-Haul. Let me just tell you what it said.
Don't tell
This
me
is
he had
tough.
a car problem.
The Chevy dealership ordered an $1,800 part for the emissions control management computer that went out. They hope it will be in tomorrow, which is today, and finish the repair. After it is finished, we will be about 6.5 hours away from home. So thank you guys for doing what you're doing. May God get you home safely. So there you go. I'm excited to share with you our one of our sponsors of Grit and Good News. That would be Cancun. Sammy will put it up on the screen for you, at least the menu or parts of it, pictures of it. Cancun's, as most of you that live in Waxahachie know. For those of you that don't, but do come to Waxahachie, it's about 2.5 miles north of 287 and 77, which is 77 is the hub of Waxahachie. It's also known as Ferris. But you come in on 287, or if you know where that is, you go 2.5 miles to the north, like you're going to Dallas on 77. It's on the left, which is the west. So you will see it there. It's called Cancun's. It's in front of Atwood's and surrounded by other new businesses. Cancun's is one of our favorite places. We love it. Right now, Cancun's is giving away with a $20 purchase meals, which you'll spend that if you go to Cancun's. You get a free appetizer of sopapillas. I was told last night or yesterday to tell you that the only way you can get what I'm about, what I just told you, the free sopapillas, is to show them the coupon off of our new app called Down Home. So if you go to Down Home on the App Store, on the Google Store, just put Down Home, you'll see it. The logo is blue and it's got a cursive D&H on it. Go to the coupon section, you'll see the coupon for sopapillas at Cancun. So thank you, Cancun's. Cancun's is a wonderful place. It's been here a long time. We love it. You'll love it. Sopapillas are the best. If you're ever having a bad day, have a sopapilla. It'll be a good day from that minute forward.
You know what? It's all the Spanish a lot of people can speak.
Yeah, sopapilla. I wonder what that is in English, what that means. Donut?
Good dessert.
Sammy, look that up. Oh, Lord, Sammy's going to say, how do you spell sopapilla? Ask or Google it and see what sopapilla means in English, and we'll tell everybody. So thank you, Cancun's. Go to Cancun's, become a Cancunanite, and enjoy your free sopapillas. Get the app, Down Home, find the coupon, which is simple, and you're in like Flint,
Boom.
as we say. So my column yesterday, there are times in my career where I've written columns that are very difficult to write. Some of them because it's a difficult issue, a complex issue, to make sure that I present it in a way that can be understood. Sometimes it's hard because I'm angry at people or somebody or the world. Sometimes it's the death of a friend or someone that was important in our lives. And then, like yesterday, it has to do with our oldest pet, Maggie. Sammy will put up some pictures of Maggie on the screen. Did you find out what sopapilla means? Fried pastry. Fried pastry. That's what sopapilla means. So Sammy will put up some pictures of Maggie. Maggie is what they call a Pirador, which is a cross between a Pyrenees and a Labrador. And she is solid white. She's about 80 pounds. She has been with us for a number of years. We rescued her. She has gone blind, although she can see a little bit out of her left eye peripherally, but very little. She's also deaf. Connect the Dots. It's good to see. Thank you very much, Connect the Dots. Thank you for being here. Very happy about that.
And I'm new guy.
Yeah, new guy. That's Jeff, new guy. And Sharon, thank you for sharing that, saying that about Maggie. But Maggie is the best kind of animal anybody could want. She's fun. She's docile. She has never had an accident, gone in the restroom, in the house, nothing, ever.
I mean, has she ever been a digger?
Yeah, she used to
Mm,
dig. She sheds, but we don't,
mhm.
I remember a time in my life where I'm like younger, oh, those dogs, we can't have dogs or cats because they shed too much. I don't want that stuff all over me when I go to work.
Right, right,
Now, I honestly wouldn't be me if I didn't come to work or go to church or go out with my wife or friends or whatever if I didn't have dog hair. Because
right.
Maggie's white, EJ's sand color, and Binks's fur, if you're wearing dark, it goes
Yeah,
right in.
yeah.
But Maggie is a sweet, angelic pet, and we have been blessed to have her. We knew this day was coming. The column is about our preparation for her to cross the rainbow bridge, as they say. And I tell you what, it's I don't know the exact quote, but it basically is owning a pet represents both the very best in life and also the very worst experience in life. And so we are nervous. We're we're kind of well, not kind of. We're upset. We know what's coming. We can't imagine it. I know you've been through it, right? More than
I
once.
have been more than once, and I was a little bit afraid to ask you this morning whether you're going to euthanize her, and I was glad when I heard what you said that you were, and people don't like it when you make animal comparisons to human, and particularly pet comparisons. But I can tell you that if you're prepared for somebody's death, it's easier than if it comes suddenly, tragically, unexpectedly. And it's the same thing with a dog. I was talking to somebody asking that question. They said, well, their dog had been hit and killed in an accident. I thought, oh my gosh, if you'd had the chance to prepare, it would
Yeah,
have been such a different thing,
right. Yeah, I don't want to ever experience that. We've had a few dogs in our lives, and we have three now. But and we go, we're helicopter parents for our dogs,
Mhm.
and two of them are tiny, 8 and 9 pounds, and we don't. We have a fenced backyard, thank goodness, and we don't even take them out for walks because we're just not sure. The responsibility that other pet owners
Mhm.
have is not always
Mhm.
up there. And so it only takes for a little dog that's 8 or 9 pounds, the chomp of a dog like Maggie, who puts up with our little guys all the
Right.
time, one
Right.
chomp on the back of the neck or gut, it's over. And so, but Maggie is, oh man, she's blessed our lives. She's blessed the lives of our children. She blesses the lives of people that come over and see us who know Maggie. She's just uh, I- we all think of our pets as beautiful, precious. They're innocent. I've often said to myself, to your point, you 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 tell a person that, or show a video of somebody this is morbid, I guess, but somebody being killed or injured, or say a fight between two people. Uh, that's one thing. That's bad enough, but you show the same kind of thing involving a pet, people go ballistic. You watch a man, these sorry men out there who might abuse their spouse or their girlfriend. You see that, or any man putting his hands on a woman, that's will enrage people.
Yeah.
You see a person hit a dog, kick a dog, mistreat a dog. I don't know if there's a word for enrage is not enough. It's a weird thing, isn't it?
There's a comment about a guy that kicks dogs. People aren't very fond of people that kick a dog, and there's a reason. We've got a couple of comments here we'll
Hmm.
get at in just a second. There's a reason for the famous expression that a dog is a man's best friend, and I know when I come in, especially if I leave in the morning early, and the dog hadn't had a chance to see me, and when I come in, that Layla.
Yeah,
She's about the happiest creature on the face of
right.
the earth.
And
Just because they live for the love
yeah,
of their people.
it is.
It's just
When
it's
God
something.
created animals, it's like children, um, before they're indoctrinated.
Yeah.
Which is, sadly, these days, children are being indoctrinated at younger ages than ever before. But it's the same. It's the same think dogs don't ever really get in. Well, they get
Yeah.
indoctrinated if they got a poor owner, a lousy owner, mean owner. The dog becomes that way, or becomes what scared, gun shy, all that stuff.
Mhm.
But you watch a video of somebody mistreating another human, that'll get you going. You watch somebody abuse a dog, it's for me anyway, and I think I represent most people. It's let me find that dude. You know what I mean? So who's our thank you
Chuck
saying that's
Sullins.
yeah, Chuck Sullins. Welcome, Chuck, to our show. My thoughts and prayers go out to those in Florida while in the Coast Guard. I've been around a few while I was stationed in Northern California. I volunteered to go down to assist for Katrina. That storm was devastating. Yes, it was. I can only imagine the damage this storm has caused. Thank you, Scott, from Jeff, for being part of the board. For the board of the Salvation Army. Sorry for your loss and pets. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that very much, and it's my honor to be a part of the Salvation Army. So thank you. And Katrina was, what year that was? That'll be on our list. At the end of the show, you know what year?
Yeah,
I'll give you half a bonus point.
My wife is good on this, and she always makes fun if I don't know this.
You're stalling.
2007.
Wrong. 2005. I was
Sorry,
walking
Rita.
the streets of Manhattan. I was working for the paper at Washington Examiner in D.C., and we were up in New York City on appointments, and I was walking the streets, and I'll never forget hearing about August, maybe it was the later part of August, sometime in August of 2005. But thank you, Chuck, for that. Thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for your service in the Coast Guard. Sharon, yes, Sharon. My wife says Maggie is like one of our kids. I'll tell you, Sonia and Maggie
You're tied with the dog, dude.
What's that?
You're tied with the dog. Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
you are.
it's a status that you don't mind.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
But Maggie would not survive a day
Yeah.
without Sonia. I can tell you. That's matter of fact that we were supposed to be in Buffalo about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I ended up going. Sonia didn't go because we were afraid that while Maggie was gone, while Sonia was gone, Maggie would pass away. So Sonia adores Maggie. Maggie adores Sonia. Jonna says, I read your column, and now here we go again. My dogs are like my kids, and it will crush me when this time comes for me. I do not look forward to it. Maggie is a sweetheart, and I know how much she means to your family. Thank you, Jonna, and I know your big waterhead dogs. You love them, and they love you. They've got
Is that a name of a breed that I don't know?
It might be, but if it isn't, she ought to start one because those dogs got the biggest freaking head I've ever seen. And you see the size of my head right here. These dogs it's gigantic. I don't know how they walk without tipping over. But yeah,
don't get her going. We'll be reading.
I know you're right.
But
anyway,
day,
thank you all for your comments about Maggie. But I will tell you this: we will share with you when that day comes. Right now, we had the appointment last Friday morning at 9:00. Decided to cancel it because Maggie is still eating more than we thought. She still comes to the door to greet me when she can't hear or see. But she knows our other little chihuahuas, the two of them come running. She knows it's time for her to go. She just follows them. So that's pretty awesome. But when the time comes, we are going to invite all of our children to come visit and be with her that day. And then Sonia and I will go with her and be with her as she
it's a
family
bonding thing. And when we had to put down our precious Sugar, who'd been with my wife longer than I, because I hadn't been with that dog that many years. Just what we did, just what you're doing. You can have a qualified person come to your house,
right?
Gather together, do the shot, take the dog home, come back with a box of ashes for you. And I also had a similar situation bringing my family together when I had my 3 kids, and we weren't all living together at that time, and they were all adult kids, and their mother, and we took precious April the Dalmatian in the back of a pickup truck, and we drove to the vet's office.
Yeah,
had the shot in the parking lot.
Right.
Brought the dog home.
Right.
And buried it next to the barn.
Yeah. Exactly. So I would, for anyone out there who may be experiencing the same thing or know that it's coming, I would encourage you, almost plead with you, to not be the one who says it's time, take the dog to the vet, and then leave because you don't want to experience what will be a very painful experience. Imagine the dog, your pet, laying there by itself in a cold room without.
And I'm not going to tell the story now. I'm going to tell you a story later on
Okay.
about a situation where that happened. And
Well,
wow,
I just want us all to say, you know what, we're going to be there. We're going to be in Maggie's life to the very last second,
amen.
and then when it's time for us all to go home, uh, I see heaven is entering. If the Lord lets me, entering heaven with, here comes Maggie, Layla, or whatever dog to greet us as we walk in.
Yeah, I like that idea.
So thank you all. God bless Maggie, and God bless my wife for the love that she gives Maggie, for sure. So with that, we have a second sponsor. I'll let Jeffrey tell you all about our second sponsor.
Our second sponsor is a great new sponsor, Mr. Rooter. And I've never had occasion to use them at this point, but I'm telling you what, everything that I read and hear about them, here's what I think you're going to like about them. They have offices all over North America. They've been in business since 1970. That's 54 years in business. But the unique thing is, for a company that's all over the place, they have local ownership of individual offices. So this Waxahachie office has its own owners, and
So locally owned and operated.
locally owned and operated, and you can depend on the following things from Mr. Rooter. You're always going to have licensed experts. You're going to have insured plumbers. You're going to get guaranteed parts and workmanship. You're going to get courteous, uniformed professionals. Locally owned and operated does make a difference. And you're going to get convenient appointment times. And when they make a time, they're going to be there. You're going to get warm and friendly service for every client that they have. They're going to keep your home clean with mats and shoe covers. They're going to provide you a price before you start. They're going to deliver durable, high quality parts, make durable repairs, and they're going to stand behind their work for your peace of mind. So I did a little bit more research on them, and here's one thing that I did not mention in the previous commercials. They are not just residential; they're residential and commercial, and they don't just do repair work; they do remodeling. They're not going to remodel your whole house. They're not going to remodel even your kitchen.
Yeah.
But they are going to do any kind of bathroom remodeling that you need, which is probably the number one thing. It's the first thing people remodel in a house: bathrooms and kitchens. And so that's in their bag of tricks also.
Okay. How do you reach them?
You can reach them at 469-214-5179, and I'll give you one more chance to grab your paper and write it down. 469-214-5179. It's Mr. Rooter, and we're so happy.
Yeah, I'm sorry, they're on the screen right now. Yep. Okay.
We're so happy they're with us.
Yes, thank you.
And,
very much.
They'll be your plumber for life once you use them.
So we can fill your gut and take care of the opposite end of the spectrum of life, if that's what you need, with our sponsors, right?
Everybody assumes that the toilet's the most important part of the bathroom, but when it comes to urgency, I guess it is.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Speaking of phone numbers, I failed to mention this, but just above our, way up there, above, you see it, I'm pointing to it, above our My Elephant, Crimson Tide, Roll Tide, is our phone number. This is a call-in show. We do it and so that you can have things to say in real time. We'll answer them, and so feel free to do that. Most people are writing us, but we love to take phone calls. So
and some people
fancy.
aren't looking at it; they're only listening, and so
and plus a lot of the people that we have that are watching the show, we're up close to 1,000 viewership now, and which in a short time. Most of them are viewing or not most, but many are viewing this after it's happened, so they're not live.
So if you're just listening, it's 972-268-9441, and we will take your call.
Yep, absolutely. All right. I think with our next subject here, I'm going to have to, I should have thought about this earlier, because I'm going to have to reveal a secret, I think.
I thought we didn't have any secrets, but go ahead.
Well, I'm gonna have to. I have to. Yeah. I don't know. Hey, Sonia, if you're watching, go hit mute for the next 15 minutes. Please. Anyway, so I'll tell you about that in just a second. But in a little over a month, at AT&T Stadium where the Cowboys play, there are going to be close to 100,000 people in that facility, not to see the Cowboys play,
Oh, they're there for soccer then?
not to see a soccer game,
Not for
not
soccer.
to see an SEC game.
Is Taylor Swift coming back?
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Oh, my
No.
gosh.
No. If she comes, I'm protesting.
Okay, all right.
All right.
So who's coming?
What do you think that they're going to be there for? Take a guess. Not George Strait. Take a guess.
Pugilism?
No, I hope not. Whatever that means. When do you come up with that big word? How do you spell it?
Pugal. Ism? ISM?
I don't even know if I want to know what that means. Oh,
Hello? You're a boxing
I'm
fan
a
and you've never heard of
wordsmith.
you never heard of a guy being a pugilist?
Now I know that. Oh, that's interesting. Anyway, my wife, who's about 5'0" and weighs about 105 pounds, she and I both love UFC fighting, and we love boxing, particularly the big kind, like Ali, Thrilla, and Manila. So on November the 15th, Mike Tyson is fighting Jake Paul. That's like Grandpa fighting frat boy at AT&T Stadium. 100,000 people are going to be there. Oh, I need to say something to Hussar. He just lost his cat, and so cat or dog, same thing. So God bless you, brother. Mike Tyson, Jake Paul, in a boxing ring with 100,000 people. First of all, those people up in the top, I don't know.
That's where my Cowboys seats are.
Way
6
up there.
rows from the top.
Yeah, you get nosebleed. That what it is? Or wear an oxygen mask. But they'll obviously watch it on that big screen. But so the fight, Mike Tyson, I believe, is 50. I'm gonna say 55, give or take a few years. So he's in his 50s. Jake Paul is 27. Jake Paul has fought recently in the past couple of years, fought several not washed up champs, but older champs. And I think has won every one of them. He fought Mayweather. He fought the others. I can't remember their names, but he's fighting Mike Tyson. And Mike Tyson is the one who initiated it. Mike Tyson said, "You know what? You're running your mouth." You know how Mike is. I wish I could imitate him, but you know how he is.
All you gotta do is talk a little bit higher.
And with a lisp.
Hey.
So they're fighting, and so this is Sonia. I am surprising my wife. Oh, we got a call coming in. Is that on Jeff's line? Probably. All right.
Good afternoon. Who are we listening to and talking to?
Hi, this is Kenneth Hussar. This is actually Douglas Hussar's brother.
Well, hey, Kenneth. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. A little bit low from me, but I can hear you.
All right. Well,
okay, what you got, Kenneth?
Yep.
Well, I was listening and you guys were talking about the UFC, and I know that recently there's been a little bit of drama surrounding it. I don't know if you guys have checked out some of the alternatives from UFC.
Like?
Such as?
I can't remember the name. I think it was like FYC or something like that, but I wanted to see if you guys knew them and could be informative to me.
Scott might know more than I don't do a lot of that sport.
We have to go through one mic. We got to work on that. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you okay.
Yeah, so there are a number of them. There are I think I know there's 3 or 4 that are pretty well known. UFC is the behemoth that has the market share, but there are a lot of spinoffs that do the same thing. And some of them, matter of fact, there's even a bare knuckle fighting organization where they don't have gloves on. Where UFC, they have on lightweight gloves that have a little bit of padding over the knuckles. This other group does it bare knuckles, pretty warrior like. But anyway, there are others. There are others. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll put it up on our Sammy within an hour after the show, we'll put up several of the other organizations that do the same thing because I mean these are UFC is $1 billion company easy, and
Absolutely.
when you think about we're not talking about the UFC with the Mike Tyson fight, but if Mike Tyson was fighting Jake Paul in the UFC in a cage, as it were, is that what they
Yeah.
call it? The cage? Yeah. There would be 100,000 people there for that too. So it's a huge sport. It's actually more popular than boxing because there are more it's far more there's a lot more, you know, quality fighters in UFC than there are boxers. So it's
Yeah.
an amazing thing to experience. My wife and I will go over to what used to be called Showbiz Cinemas here. It's now called Evo. And rather than
Yeah.
paying 80 or 90 bucks to see it on TV, a pay-per-view, we'll go pay $18 a person to sit over at the movie theater and watch it on the big screen. It's a lot of fun to do that. So yeah, we'll put up the other organizations, but UFC is the big dog, as it were.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
well,
definitely like to see them.
thanks for checking in.
Well, thank you for having me.
See you later.
See ya.
So,
See ya.
we lost our see him fighting well. Yeah, Mike. The thing about Mike Tyson, I'm actually concerned. Now, I was telling you that my wife doesn't know it yet, unless she what I asked her to do and put it on mute. She's about to know, but I bought us 2 tickets, kind of the lower level, uh, to be able to see the fight. I just don't want to watch it on the screen. I want to watch it in real life. Otherwise, I just stay home and pay the pay-per-view. But we're gonna go. We're gonna have a little stay up there in Arlington, a hotel that has a shuttle and all that. So we're gonna have some fun. But I honestly, I get Mike Tyson, and I want to say, well, you know what? Keep keep talking trash. Let's get in the ring. And me, I'd get my butt kicked. And Mike Tyson may get his butt kicked. But that's what's going to happen on November the 15th. What do you
Okay.
think of that?
I got a couple opinions,
All
as
right.
you might guess.
Yes.
First of all, there is no precedent saying that you can't be a good athlete into your 50s. Gordie Howe played into his 50s. He came back. He'd retired and he came back because he wanted to have a chance to play with his sons,
Yeah.
Mark and Marty, and he played a few seasons there for the great Houston Astros, Houston Aeros. Jaromir Jagr is still playing hockey in his early 50s over in Czechoslovakia for a team that he owns. And then you got the senior PGA, and you got to be 55 to start on that.
50,
and
I think.
50. And you've had a resurgence in the career of a lot of players. So, and I've seen plenty of good golfers that are in their 70s, and I've seen guys shoot their age. But here's my deal. I'm not the least bit impressed by a 27-year-old punk challenging old guys.
Yeah.
It doesn't do
Yeah.
diddly. Doesn't do diddly for me.
It's clickbait in a way.
Yeah,
And to
yeah.
that
It's
point,
self-serving, you know.
Chuck says, Scott, quick question. What's your take on the exhibition versus pro? I love boxing, but it's not like the boxing. You're exactly right. There's nothing like the golden age you're talking about. Where
Pugilists.
Sugar Ray fighting Tommy Hearns or Marvin Hagler. I mean, those were the days, man. That's when we didn't really have pay-per-view back then. But what Chuck's talking about, this would have been in the early 80s, somewhere around there, maybe late 70s. But those were, I mean, what was one? No Mas, Roberto Duran fighting Sugar Ray Leonard in the Superdome, or
Muhammad Ali.
I mean, those were incredible fights. And I mean, there were as many people at those that there are today. And so I'm with you, Chuck. The exhibition part of it is that, as Jeff was just saying, it's a 27-year-old guy fighting a 56-year-old guy, and there can't be much reality in that other than it's actually happening. I mean, there's no belt on the line. There's no real following of these two people insofar as your Sugar Ray Leonard or your Marvin Hagler big fans. It's really people like us who say, go in there and kick his butt and get this kid to shut up. And then there are the kids that don't know who Mike Tyson is, other than he played in what was that movie, Sammy? The Hangover. So what my one we like this pomp and circumstance of big time boxing and UFC and all that stuff. And so I look forward to that. What my biggest concern is Mike Tyson getting hit so hard in his head that something physically bad happens to him. And I'm being sincere about that. I don't want to have to say afterwards, yeah, I was at Mike Tyson's funeral. Yeah, I was at that fight. He got killed.
Right.
I don't want that. I want Mike Tyson to go in there, kick his butt, and be done with it, and show what you're talking about. That we still guided it.
And I'll tell you what, if that fight ended up that Tyson won, then all of a sudden I would want to watch it, and I'd watch it after the fact.
Yeah, if Mike Tyson, I guarantee you, if Mike Tyson knocks Jake Paul out, everybody in our generation is going to say, "I'm watching that."
And I'll say, I knew a guy
Yeah.
that went.
I knew a guy. I once knew a guy. All right.
I once knew a guy.
So there you go. Mike Tyson, Jake Paul, November the 15th, AT&T Stadium. My beautiful, lovely, precious wife and I will be there in person.
Well, you've gone way past the 15 minute.
I know. So let's get to your poem.
Okay.
Set it up.
Here we go. I picked this poem because of the end of the poem, and you're going to have to listen through till you get there, because then there's a parallel between how the poem ends in today's world. And this poem was written in January of 23, and basically I saw a family member be really hard on another family member because of this subject, and it hurt me to see that. And I went back to my hotel room. I was out of town, and I sat down and I wrote this poem. And
Lay it on us.
It's called Toilet Seat, of all things.
Toilet seat.
Toilet seat, it's wearing me out. You're doing it wrong. Both genders shout. What is true depends on you. Seat up or down. Folks heatedly expound. It's not just the seat, you up the lid too. If it's right for you, for me it won't do. It's all about me, don't you see? Me first, you are the worst. People don't understand across every land. What works for one is not for everyone, duh. What really seems sad to this 67-year-old lad is that how we do our biz when taking a whiz puts others in a tiz. Why this whole up or down can cause such a frown. If you don't do it right, you cause a big fight. There's no right or wrong. Let's try to get along. Do whatever you want to do, and I'll get along with you. Is it really a big trouble to move it up or down? Your really big frown is dragging me down. If you lived in the Ukraine, this would cause no pain. Any toilet seat would be a treat to have under your seat. But I'm telling you what, there's a lot of people in North Carolina, Georgia, and Florida that do not have a toilet under their seat. And they wouldn't give a flip whether the lid was up or down. They'd just be happy to have a lid. Yeah. I'm done.
Yeah, there you go. Preach it, brother. Where else today? Where else are you going to hear in this world? And I'm talking about the whole world, all 8 billion of us. Where are you going to hear a poem about toilet seat? But right here on Great and Good News. Before I get away from Tyson, Chuck makes another good point. Even if Tyson loses, it's because it's still not lost in essence because he's not in his prime. He's expected to lose. So my hope is that he wins, reinvigorates our generation. Chuck's in our generation, I'm sure, and carry on. All right.
Go.
So
okay.
Thank you
we
for
move
that.
on to Today in History.
So day in history. So,
and we are responsive to people near and dear to us or strangers who give us quality suggestions. And I had somebody near and dear to me tell me that as much as she enjoys the show, she thinks that the history section gets a little long and drags on, and it's a little bit confusing. Sammy's not sitting here with us, and then we got Doug piping in, and then we got
Yeah.
Sharon piping in.
Yeah.
So we're going to do things a little bit differently this time. I'm just going to give Scott the questions, and then we're going to talk a little bit about what's the most important thing about any of these historic events.
Yeah.
And so that's how we're going to go.
Ran G generation says, hey, 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 or he. So they're either saying hello, 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 or laughing, laughing, laughing. Either case, we love it. Thank you for being here. And Chuck just says we need a little music to add to that number one rap song. We just need to add a little music to make that a number one. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got it.
You know what? And boy, anybody who knows anybody that could help me on that, I'd be happy to share that. I'd love that to become a song.
All right.
And Doug likes this segment. Hey, and we liked it too. So we're going to try it this way, and we're going to see how it goes.
Well,
we may very well go back to the original.
We're including
way.
Sammy. Sammy cheats off me anyway. So do you sometimes, Mr. Hussar. But Sammy cheats off me. So Sammy's off. We're gonna get Sammy and Mike so y'all can. You don't have anything in your hand today, Sam. You can hear Sammy from time to time. But Sammy is gonna keep his own score over there, or at least tell us how he did. So
okay,
let's go.
We go
Day in history.
Oldest to youngest. You get 7 years each direction. If you hit it on the money, you get double. I don't really have any facts in here that we're going to give a bonus for on the facts.
What did you do in your earlier?
We have 8 questions, and I went 6 and 3. Thank God I had a bonus, and I came out the gates losing the first 2, and it's tough.
Well, how come you got a bonus and you're not letting me get a bonus?
No, I got a bonus for hitting it on the number.
Well, I know, but you just said we weren't going to do bonuses.
No,
today.
I meant bonuses for special facts.
Oh,
okay,
got it. Oh, I got you. Okay.
Yeah, and I think if you don't get the bonus on this one, I'd be very disappointed.
Uh-oh.
Here we go.
There's
Starting
some
oldest
pressure.
to youngest. The U.S. Naval Academy was established in Annapolis, Maryland, with an inaugural class of 50 students.
Oh my goodness.
That's a tough one.
That is a 1909.
I went the other way. I went 1820, and the answer was 1845.
Ooh,
Annapolis,
I
Maryland.
missed it by that much.
Here we go. Chinese revolutionaries launched an uprising that led to the collapse of the Ming, some people say Manchu dynasty, and the establishment of the Republic of China.
1921.
1921. I was also incorrect. I went to 1890, and the answer was 1911.
All right.
Tough to be 0-2. You can work your way out of it.
Okay.
The George Gershwin opera Porgy and Bess, featured an all-black cast, opened on Broadway, beginning a run of 124 performances.
1934.
1935.
Oh, sweet. Oh, but let me say something. I had to take in my freshman year of college in Portland, Oregon. I had to take a music class, and I chose opera. Me and the other basketball players just thought we'd be funny about it, so we took opera. It was the most painful experience I've ever had in my life. Right up there with drilling my teeth, having a hip replaced.
That high end can get tough.
It was brutal.
Yeah.
That was brutal.
The Summer Olympics began in Tokyo, the first Summer Olympic Games to be telecast around the world.
Well, that had to come after television. So I would say 1964.
Well, you would get the bonus, dude.
Oh, yeah. So I got 2 for that one.
All right. Vice President Spiro T. Agnew, accused of accepting bribes, resigned his office and pleaded no contest to 1 count of federal income tax evasion.
That's right. 1970.
I picked 74. It was 73.
That was close.
No. You get the 1, but not the bonus. Yeah. A month after the September 11th attacks, U.S. jets pounded the Afghan capital of Kabul, while President George W. Bush unveiled a list of 22 most wanted terrorists, including Osama bin Laden.
Yeah. So why that's simple. If it's a month out, it's
It is.
2001.
It is simple.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, so I get 2 for that.
Yeah. Don't knock yourself out for prosperity. Okay, dude. Come on.
It's always like there's a catch there or something, like a trick question. For the record, just for the record, I'm 6-2 right now.
Malala Yousafzai, a 17-year-old Pakistani girl, and Kailash Satyarthi, a 60-year-old Indian man, were jointly awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for risking their lives for the right of children to receive an education and live free from abuse.
2013.
2014.
I am on a roll.
Hurricane Michael, as in Jeffrey Michael Lynch, Hurricane Michael, the first to strike the U.S. mainland as a Category 5 hurricane, 5, in 26 years, made landfall in Florida.
2017.
18.
I'm
I
still
was right
rolling.
there with you, too. Now, ironic, this is today.
Is this our last one?
Yeah, we're done. This is today.
Oh, that was the last one? Oh,
Today, it happened.
in 2018.
Yesterday, it hit yesterday.
6 years ago
6
yesterday.
years ago today.
Wow.
So
you want to hear my tally?
yeah, oh yeah, please.
8-2.
8-2, and I was
Sammy,
I was
you're
6
making
and 3.
progress. You were 6-3.
I was 6 and 3.
I'm
That's the
telling
first
you.
time you've actually beat me.
Excuse me. I was
were
8-0
you
the
were
other
8-0
day.
that
That
one
would be
time.
the second
It
time I
wasn't the
beat you.
second time you beat me. So okay, I'm giving you this. So
why do I want this?
let's think about
Oh yeah,
what was the most
important of
relevant or important event of those, or most importantly, which one can we learn the most from?
Well, there's nothing really more indelible in our country's history than 2001, September 2011. But that is, I'm sorry, September 11th, 2001. We're not talking about specifically
Yeah.
the attacks. We're talking about something that happened a month later. I would say,
Did we learn anything from it?
well, we can learn that. Here's what I'll tell you. I think I learned. 1973, Spiro Agnew resigned because he did bad stuff.
Right.
We're 51 years later. We
Mhm.
still got bad stuff going on from a political class that doesn't either care, doesn't get it. It's all that. They don't care. So the corruption that was going on then has only magnified and gotten worse. And so anything I see about politics that allows me to say political class is one of our, if not the biggest problem we have in
Mhm.
America, is the choice I'm going to make. It is the political class, media class, religious class, academia class are the pillars of failure in this country.
So sadly, what you're telling me is that we haven't learned anything
right.
in 51 years.
That's what I think is notable.
And that is notable, and that is sad.
What did you think about which one of those?
I was so busy thinking up the new way of doing it, I didn't really have a good answer.
Well, you don't have to. I think we both can agree that we're talking 51 years later, and just in that example, it blows my mind. The political class has to be busted up somehow or another. That's why, in part, we do this show. I write a column. I gave every dime I've got to start a newspaper media companies because these classes of failure have to be busted.
Yeah, and I guess in that light, I would say this: when it comes to 2001, the whole reason 9/11 happened, was it because of love? No, it was because of hate.
Yeah.
Okay.
I totally.
And does our world have any less hate today than it did 23 years ago? Did it teach us anything about hate?
It's got more. Maybe no. September the 12th, 2001. We might say it didn't have much hate in it because America came together.
Yeah, which was great.
We've forgotten September the 12th.
So there we go.
Yeah. So thank you, Chuck. Really appreciate all of you being on here today, our new folks and those that are back. we are done for today. And so we'll be back next Tuesday with all new topics and a lot more fun. Thank you for being here. Thank you to Cancun's and Mr. Reuter for your sponsorship. Please patronize both of those. You'll be happy. You did. This is good news. On behalf of my pal, Jeffrey, I say so long, and
Always remember, don't write a check that you can't cash.
thank y'all. See you later.